Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Southampton, part of the Global Sports Podcast Network. My name is Greg Elliott and we're joined by a full Southampton team today. My good friends and wonderful co-hosts. Oscar, how you doing?
Yeah, all good, thank you.
Good. And Zach, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, loving life.
Good. It's heating up quite literally as we head into what many neutral fans are dubbing El Crapico, as we head to, frankly, probably our most winnable game that remains of the season, right? So, Oscar, how you feeling heading into this one?
Yeah, I think we've got to be. It's probably one of the few games we can go in, and I would say we're at least close to being favourites. I'd be interested to see the odds on it, but looking forward to it. Nothing to lose, so why not?
Yeah. To bolster that with a little bit of a statistic, the last time Leicester scored a goal at home in the league was December the 8th. So
interesting. I did see a fun conversation of people saying this is the most obvious 0-0 game I've ever seen, to which both Southampton and Leicester fans jumped on it saying, "You think we're keeping a clean sheet?"
Yeah.
I think I saw the score -1 predicted, and I don't even know.
According to Stats Insider, or based on the odds, their predictive analytics model, so take that with a pinch of salt, gives Leicester a 41.9% chance of winning, us a 33.1% chance of winning, and the draw a 25.1% chance of occurring. So we're still apparently predicted to not get the win.
Well, I mean, it would be very Saints this season to go and concede a handful of goals to a team that haven't scored at home since December. Like, if that's not the sort of streak that we tend to break,
yeah,
I don't know what is. Did you see the other stat? I saw it on a shout out to the Southampton Australian supporters page, who consistently entertain me when the football doesn't necessarily. But they posted a stat this morning that PSG have now beat more Premier League teams this season than Saints, Leicester, and Ipswich combined. So that's nice.
Again, how many more times can I rewrap the same point that this year the bottom three have been truly the bottom three, right? Like that's a better stat to sum it up than anything that we can say.
How are you feeling heading into it, Zach? You hoping that we can push on and get something out of this?
I was hoping we'd build last game and then we did a Saints, which is awful. So yeah, I'd like to see us put a bit. If we know it's our most winnable game up to the rest of the season now, and we have supposedly the fittest squad we've had in a very, very long time. Yeah, just go and win it, lads. Like, come on, the sun's shining. It's Saturday. It's going to be Saturday. Like everyone just wants to. I think we could all just do with a little bit of a boost, right? Especially going into sort of final closing games against sort of like Arsenal and City and stuff. Like we're probably, I don't know with Arsenal actually, but probably not going to win those games. Just feeling that. so yeah, you're right. If this is our last like winnable game, I'd love to see us just like go and get it, because the focus I think is for everybody is now slowly shifting towards new manager, also shifting to this potential sales rumours, which only have spiraled since we covered it, like 2 or 3 days ago, maybe yesterday. Yeah. Who knows?
A couple of days
but
ago.
All I know is it's spiraling out of control. So like, yeah, let's hopefully get a little bit of enjoyment out of what's left in the Premier League, and I think this is probably our best chance to do it. So,
yeah, Oscar, with the the team news coming out of the presser that Tallpool's back in training and Ross Stewart survived his 60-minute outing on the pitch and has managed training this week as well. Which of those two options do you think we tend to prefer?
It's a tricky one. You don't want to push it too far with Stewart, I'd say, in one way. At the same time, it naturally makes sense to have him start, probably, and then bring Tallpool on if he's just coming back from injury. I don't know. It's a tricky one. Like when I went through sort of trying to think of the lineup, that was probably the only position where I'm not entirely sure where you'd go with it. I think Stewart did enough to earn a starting position for me on Saturday. I know he didn't particularly affect the game that much going forwards, but by and large had a good game. And again, if Paul's just coming back from injury, that's the way I'd probably hedge the bets. I think one thing is for sure, I'll be between those two, and it wouldn't be Archer for me this weekend.
Yeah, I think that if you look at the system and the way we've been shaping up, I don't think that plays to Archer's strengths. So I don't think it would be reasonable to chuck him in. And I don't see why you would suddenly throw it all at the wall and start again with a completely different system. So,
shall I tell you what is nice, lads? The fact that we're talking about starting a game with a striker consistently, and that's not having to be like a debate of we're going to play Stevens up front. It's just we're going to play a striker. Which one is it? That in itself for me is an improvement on the last couple of months of what we've had to watch, right? So yeah. I think either of them could theoretically do a job. I think it would be a fantastic boost for Stewart's confidence to actually go out and score and get a goal. Alternatively, Paul is our top goal scorer, so why would you not want him on the pitch? But I think I would like to see, I wouldn't mind either. I wouldn't even mind if Archer eventually comes on as a sub, but I feel like if both of them are available, it will probably be a like-for-like swap if we do see any movement in the game.
What about both of them up front together? Smash the ball in the box as often as possible.
That's too many strikers. Who are you losing, can't do that.
Yeah, who are you losing at that point? That's the problem. Who are you losing out of that lineup to have the two strikers?
Yeah, Sulemana. I'm not sure having two big boys up front will work, but
are we souring? Because I think that he did all right. I think the only criticism anyone can really give him in the Fulham game was, well, other than not scoring, is when he stayed up, which was apparently some referees were like, "Oh, that's really honest." I'm like, "That's lovely." If he'd gone down and we got a penalty, we might have won that game.
Yeah, he gives up too easily on the press and on just in general. Like, he's quite happy to pick up the ball and take a player on twice, but once he's done that, if any of those times they get as much as a foot on the ball, he just gives up and doesn't chase it back. And that upsets me.
Yeah. Valid.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk a bit more about predicted lineups. But first, we've got a message from our partners at Bionique.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionique provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionique. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Okay, and we are back. Okay, so other than the option up top that we've already potentially discussed, Zach, unchanged going in?
Yeah, why not? It's working. It's got us the most points of return we've had in a significantly large amount of games. Again, I think that a lot of the mistakes at the end of the Fulham game were trying to switch defensively and trying to hold on to a slim draw. And I think we got bitten by that. But I wouldn't really want to change the way we've played the last couple of games if we've got the better results and the better sort of more enjoyable-ish to watch in comparison to the last couple of months. So yeah, I wouldn't change a thing really.
What about you, Oscar? More of the
same?
I
don't think it was a conscious change. I think to go more defensive. I think it was just a psychological thing. I think that's what Rusk sort of alluded to, and that an issue we've had in the past few years. I remember particularly, I think it was it Hasenhüttl or maybe some under Pure, where we'd go 1-0 up and then we'd just drop deeper and deeper and deeper. I think that's like probably more what it stemmed from, but I don't think that's a necessarily personnel issue. Probably combined with other teams being able to bring on better players. We shouldn't have that too much with Leicester in the 70th minute. I wouldn't have thought that they're going to bring on someone that you just can be like, oh wow, they would start for us easily, and they're coming on after an hour when our players are all stuffed. So I would agree. I don't think I said a few weeks ago we need a bit of consistency. Let's just try and build a bit of consistency on a solid base. He seems to have done that well. And look, we're in games. And he alluded to that point earlier. We're in games. Yes, we're not quite getting over the line, but it's against teams that are better. he basically came out and said that we're going to look to frustrate teams. That is what he has to do. That's what the remit is when he came in, is to make it more solid and to see out the season. And it's not an easy job, but he has made it more solid. So I'd like to see more of the same. And again, maybe Ross Stewart coming in or having a bit more of an option up there suddenly fuels a bit of the fire to then nick another goal and win it by the odd goal here or there. But yeah, I wouldn't change it beyond that unless it's enforced, which it doesn't sound like it is at the moment.
Yeah. And, this dynamic duo partnership of Downs and Uga Chugwui just seems to go from strength to strength. So why is it taking this long in the season to get to that point?
Because when we saw it under Martin, mate, me and you both agreed back in the early days of the podcast, every time we saw it under Martin, it just didn't work. And we only liked seeing one of them at a time because of that. But in recent times, having both of them together, it's just started to click and work. So
I think that's just because of the bit more freedom rather than the sort of imposed runs from midfield, flick on.
Could be potentially that. Could be the fact they've got to know each other a little better behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. Like when you're trying to shove two people that don't know each other to suddenly, cover each other and all that kind of stuff, it's going to take some time to bed in. Maybe the fact that they've just bedded in a little bit better. Not really sure, but either way, it's a stark difference to like when we were seeing them play together at the same time at the beginning, and then we almost had Uga Chugwui sent back to Chelsea. If it wasn't for the fact that they didn't have already 100,000 defensive midfielder players anyway, and the fact that he actually started to become more vital. But he even said himself, right, he's grown up a lot and he's changed, progressed as a footballer whilst playing for us. And so yeah, they complement each other a bit better than they used to, I think is the other sort of potential reason why. But that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And obviously Matty Fernandez has got to be the first name on any team sheet, right? Because he is, in my opinion, far and away the best player we've got and had all season. So there's just not even a debate to be had there, is there, Oscar?
No, I don't think so. I think there was I can't remember who it was, but someone posted an image the other day of Fernandez's ratings this season on Who Scored, and I think every single one was above a 7, which for Southampton is an achievement this season, but most of them were high 7s and 8s, and to achieve that in a team that have been as woefully bad as we have is pretty impressive. So yeah, I think first name on the team sheet and do everything we can to butter him up and keep him. I don't see it happening, but why not? So yeah, first name on the team sheet for me.
Will we see Grombach again, do you reckon, this season? Or do you reckon his career is literally over at Southampton now? Because that has got to go down as one of the strangest transfers, because he did play a game for us and wasn't terrible. And obviously, I think that they said they wanted him to play in that Matty Fernandez role. Then I think he had another game where he started as a striker for whatever reason. And then they were just, that was it. I occasionally see photos of him on Instagram out and about in never Southampton, put it that way.
It was bizarre as to why, if Juric said he sees him in that Matty Fernandez role, of all the players, he's the one we're least likely to not play.
So strange.
So why would that be the player that we signed? Unless that was literally lastminute.com, all they could get.
The only person that had any interest in us at all is this guy who is like, his team is bottom of the French league and just wants a bit of game time. And we've managed to provide him with a solid 60 minutes.
I mean, the upsetting part of that is, Zach, that as strange as that transfer is, it probably doesn't even crack the top 3 worst transfers this season. So
you're right, because he's like I said, I didn't think he was a bad player. I think he's just not as good as Matty Fernandez. It wasn't quite as bad as the Cornet, where his cameo in the Bournemouth game was pretty much the only thing that I remember seeing, and that was an atrocious game.
Yeah.
So
I think that it speaks volumes that we've not even seen him in or about the bench.
Yeah, this the fact is
seen players like Jay Robinson come in and get minutes, so that probably tells you where he is in the pecking order.
And again, it's probably because he has no intention of staying here. We have no intention of signing him. And I can't work out if he was a Juric pick or, like a lastminute.com. We found this guy who was willing to come here. We need to sign somebody so it doesn't look like we're not even trying to stay up. It just seemed there's a lot to that. is incredibly bizarre. And like we've had our, as a club, fair share of strange transfers over the years, and I've discussed a few of them over time. Sort of like, again, like the I can't remember if it was a Finnish defender or Faroe Islands, that foreign guy who came in the same day as Pochettino and never played. You know, we had I can't remember the name of the guy. When now Osvaldo came in, we had like that was it like Real Madrid or somebody? It was like a left back, and he never played. He had like ankle injury forever.
Oh, Martin Caceres.
That's the one, Caceres. Yeah, like we've had some of these like really, really bizarre, strange transfers where no one's explained. I also want to say like Yuan, or it's not Yuan, the guy who played up front, the Spanish guy, is a little guy.
Juanmi.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of like, maybe he played like 7 or 8 games, but still, there's just so many of these strange transfers that I would be absolutely fascinated to have a documentary going into each one of these and what the intentions were and then why it all fell apart. Because, yeah, Grombach is just
another one.
Yeah.
I think Juanmi's doing quite well now.
The answers to those questions would do more to upset you than anything else, Zach, to be honest.
It's fine. I live my life in perpetual misery, mate. Like,
Was it our famous black box system we had back then? It probably just like random name generator.
Would be surprised.
That is what's like frustration now is that with Sports Republic, I think the thing we all thought was of anything, the transfers should be pretty spot on given what they've done. I mean, again, I had my
data driven,
yeah. But when I knew some of the stuff, I think it just goes to highlight. Sorry. Brentford and the good work that they did, and maybe it was more to do with the stats and the system they had with, I think it's Alan Knutson in charge, that it was more to do with that than maybe Ankerson.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just have to see that those statistics and numbers spat out Nathan Jones as the best in Europe. So I think that probably tells you everything you need to know about the system they use.
Beautiful.
All right, well, we're gonna go to that place and try and predict what we think is going to happen at this game at the weekend. But first, a message from our partners at Zencastr. Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform, and Zencastr came out the clear winner, with 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs. It's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description and learn more about Zencastr. Okay, and we are back. Oscar, I'm going to throw you under the bus first today. How are you feeling? Are we going to win?
I'm going for a win. I'm going, as I say, I don't think it's going to be a cagey type affair. I think it's both teams scrapping to try and win. What have either team got to lose, really? Neither team are capable of keeping a clean sheet. So I've gone for a 3-2 Saints win.
3-2, that's a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Where are they all coming from?
That is a good question. I hadn't thought that far ahead. I sometimes do this and then forget we can't actually score goals. But I'm going to go with Ross Stewart to get his first, Matty Fernandez, and then Tallpool off the bench at the end to score the winner and send the away end into ruptures. And Yannick Vestergaard to score a goal as well, because why not?
It would almost be poetry in the worst kind of way. Zach, how about you? How are you feeling?
I feel like there's going to be goals. I don't think it's going to be a lot. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. It pushes us past the threshold of the better points total. It's not quite the win that I would want or the win that we'd really want, but I think it would probably be a fair sharing of the points across two of the worst teams the Premier League's had to offer this year. I'd like to see Ross Stewart get his first goal. I think that'd be lovely. And again, it would be like Jamie Vardy scoring against us, right? Just out of like spite.
On his farewell tour now, trying to prove to other Premier League clubs that he's still got it in him. So
yeah, well, maybe.
My one concern, I suddenly thought this with Stewart, is that he suddenly comes into a bit of half form towards the end of the season, and it deflects away from the club that we don't need to sign a striker for next season. So yeah. I'm just hoping that I want him to score, just not too many.
Somehow I think you'll get your wish coming true, Oscar.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, it's not going to surprise any of you that I'm going to be predicting a win today. Shocked across the board, I can see, but I think 2-1 is a reasonable scoreline. I actually think we're probably going to concede first and just show a bit of mentality and a bit of fight back that we've not really seen the rest of the season. So maybe that is really crazy. But actually, I think we tend to play slightly better when we concede than when we score. So I'm hoping that will sort of kick us on. And I think Matty Fernandez will score. And Ross Stewart, why not? Let's get him a goal. Let's do it. Now that we've all predicted that, he probably won't even get a minute in. It's the way it tends to go. But yeah, it feels like a game we should win. So let's hope that it's just not that piece of hope that ruins our weekend, right?
Just remembering that they beat us like 5-0 in the championship, and somehow just because they've been as bad as us, we seem to think that didn't happen. But there we are. Hey ho.
Yeah, but times are a lot different from then, Zach.
Look, sun will be shining. It'll be the weekend. Why not? Why not this game? Why not? Someone's got to come out on top of El Crapico. And I said, even if we get a draw, it's a win for us. So just like either of those outcomes. Get
the 3 points. March on to to our next home game against Arsenal, and it doesn't matter then, does it? It's all irrelevant. It's all completely done for the year. It really does become pre-season.
They might be so upset, depending on the outcome of the games they've got coming up, mate. As in Arsenal, we might end up beating them. Who knows?
Imagine 4 games left, 12 points on offer.
Like, they're not winning the league this season. Everything's going to go into the cup. If they get knocked out of the Champions League, if they get knocked out of that, it's going to be pretty deflating.
And then it's just nice to maybe go into it with nothing to lose. Both of those games against Arsenal and City.
Yeah.
Why not just see what can happen?
Rubber matches. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Well, that is just about all we've got time for today. Oscar, Zach, thank you very much for joining me. Let us know your score predictions in the comments or on the socials. We are on X, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, Facebook. I think that's all of them.
Good job.
Yeah, hit us up. Let us know how you think it's going to play out. Is it going to be that boring 0-0, or is it going to be an explosive game of real championship quality? We'll find out, and we will be back Monday to discuss it, whatever happens. But until then, have a good weekend.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.